What's good, everybody? Welcome to Frontrunner Podcast Collective, where we talk like friends, argue like cousins, and somehow still leave smarter. I am your humble host, Vince, and I am your occasional therapist, your favorite bad influence. And here at FRPC, we unpack the wins, the mess, the middle ground with jokes, receipts, and maybe a hot take that ages very poorly. I am solo dolo today. I will be handling everything, but we got a really good pod for you today. We will be discussing the fallout of the Nico Harrison firing in Dallas, Texas, and what this means for the Mavericks as we go forward. We're also going to talk about, and excuse me if you've heard this before, we're going to talk about the historic run that the Oklahoma City Thunder are on. It is incredible. Some of the numbers are even scarier than last year, and we will get into that. And speaking of scary, that bad man in Denver is doing his thing once again. We will unpack the 55-point explosion by one Nikola Jokic, awe-inspiring. Now, because it's a feel-good Friday, and I want you to go into the weekend with nothing but laughs and a warm heart or what have you. We have put together 10 of the most, why they say that, quotes in the last 10 years. Some of these are going to be some of your favorites from before. Some are going to be things that maybe have happened recently, but I will tell you this, it's going to be awesome. It will be awesome. So I am looking forward to that part right there. And we are going to obviously start with the Dallas Mavericks, where Dallas finally has clarity on two things. Nico is gone, so can't beat up on Nico, can't say the fire Nico chant anymore. And that they need to build around Cooper Flag. And this golden boy that has touched our hearts, it is going to be a monumental task. And the thing that is going to really push this is obviously the Luka trade of Anthony Davis, and how he looks fragile, he looks expensive, and he's too late for the timeline. And people want to sit there and go, well, this is not what they were saying early in the year. Well, remember, you had a crazy man supposedly running your organization in Nico Harrison. I don't personally think that. I'm not saying that I like Nico as far as what his move was with the Luka Doncic trade at all, because I think it really set the Mavericks back. But now that we're here, we got to start making some real tough decisions on what's going to go on with the Dallas Mavericks. And I said before the season started, and I think as the season was starting, when you go back and you listen to like the first pod, the prediction pod, I said, this year, I don't care what the record is. It's all about the development and everything that has to do with Cooper Flag. So if you get off to a great start, fantastic. It's still about Cooper Flag's development. Nothing changes. Now that we are at a situation where the Mavs are 3-9, they're dead last in offense at 107.8 points per game, which is the worst offensive rating in the league, where the one thing that actually makes sense is the long-term ability of Cooper Flag. It is your due diligence now to take care of Cooper Flag and his development. You could say, well, Anthony Davis is a good vet to have around. It is. But if Anthony Davis is getting the lion's share of opportunities of, putting the ball in the basket, I don't think that is what you really want to have going on in your organization. What makes this super hard? Anthony Davis is making $54 million this year. He is making $57 million next year. And then he has a player option after that, which I am almost positive, due to his injury history and due to, he'll be in his mid-30s at that point in time, he will obviously pick that up, because I'm sure people are going to try to want to get him on the cheap if he did opt out. you got to make sure that in a second apron box on a roster that still needs picks, wings, guards, actually be organized. Trading Anthony Davis, even at a discount, isn't giving up. It's admitting that Cooper Flagg is the sun and everything has to orbit around him. I don't know where anybody would have a problem with that. Now let's get into some of the particulars. We talked about his $54 million, his salary. What makes this so hard is that we can eliminate like 7 teams right off the bat. Could you do a deal with Cleveland? You could not. Do a deal with the Boston Celtics, who are in a kind of a rebuild, whatever the case may be. No, you can't. There are a lot of teams that you cannot do a deal with, like go, because of the fact that the aprons work in a certain way. Dallas can't take any more money back in a trade. Okay, so the 7 other teams that are in this situation, either in the second apron or in the first apron, the whole point of Anthony Davis being traded is getting things back for. Understand what the mindset is. Understand what we're trying to do here. We are trying to retool on the fly, and we're trying to get younger around Cooper Flagg. You can't move Kyrie right now because he's rehabbing an ACL and has almost no market right now. Now, obviously, when he comes back, there could be a situation where a team who needs a floor general, who could love to have somebody of Kyrie's offensive prowess come into their organization. Really hard for somebody who is 33 years of age, coming off an ACL tear, and expecting him to be as nimble or as have the agility that he did when he left with the ACL tear. Dallas has his own pick this year. So for the 2026 NBA draft, they are set for their pick. It is when you get to the 2027 through 2031 situation where it becomes very murky, because the Charlotte Hornets own the 2027 pick. Guess who owns the 2029 pick? We're going to get to them in a little while. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Think about that. And we got some real scary news about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not only about what historic kind of run that they're on at this present time, but there's also more bad news coming up down the horizon if you are a fan of an NBA franchise other than Oklahoma City. Now, you live in Oklahoma City or you're a fan of the Thunder, guess what? It is all roses, baby. It is fantastic for you. And I can't wait to get to that news, and we will get there. But right now, let's get back to Dallas. We got a lot of things that we need to talk about. Right now, they're not bad where they're in the first apron. Currently, we know their record is 3-9. They're 13 in the West. They have a negative net rating of minus 6.4, which is 24th in the league. Not great. Their offense is 30th in the league in points per game. Their offensive rating is also 30th, which is what? Dead last. Defense is somehow 4th in defensive rating. Their pace is 4th. They're playing at a fast pace, still can't score worth a damn. That's because they don't have a point guard to run their offense. They tried to do this Cooper Flagg thing to no avail. And now we got to pivot on the fly. Cooper Flagg, for whatever you want to talk about what he is, and none of this situation is his fault. You know, he just got drafted to this team. He's 18 years of age. He's clearly your next go-to archetype. He's not a complimentary piece. And we got to stop treating him like a complimentary piece. We are not in a situation where the Dallas Mavericks are built to win now. Now, contrary to what Nico Harrison told us and what kind of bill of goods he was trying to sell the fan base early on this season and what have you, and during the offseason, that is not the case. It is literally, hey, can we get some young pieces for our vets that are aging? That is what we're hoping to do. Is there a team out there that is looking to maybe kind of rearrange some deck chairs? That's the thing that we're looking for. And along the way, can we accumulate assets whether young player or draft picks, to help ourselves out, because we are in a draft pick deficient situation after this year. So any picks that the Dallas Mavericks can pick up for some of these trades that can go on, it's going to be good news. The bad part about this whole thing is that the roster right now for the Dallas Mavericks is actually built for Luka Doncic. Remember, they have Derek Lively Jr. I know he's hurt a lot. Daniel Gafford, who is also a pick and roll type guy, rim runner, and also defensive specimen. But then you get to the other guys, the PJ Washingtons of the world. He is really good if he can just stand stationary in a corner and shoot threes. Now, I'm not saying that PJ Washington doesn't have other things in his bag that he can't do. All I'm saying is that it is more conducive for him to have a orchestrator such as a Luka Doncic to go ahead and distribute the ball to him and put him in a position where he can stand at behind the three-point line and go ahead and stroke that shot. What do you do from there? If you're a Mavs fan, every possession feels like, whose turn is it now, instead of what's the plan? Defense belongs on a contender. The offense belongs in a league pass at 3 o'clock in February situation. You can't build around AD. And it's not because I don't like AD. It's because you have a duty to make sure you can put enough stuff around Cooper Flag. So what does this all mean? The great thing for the Dallas Mavericks is that they have a lot of pieces that there are a lot of organizations that would like. Such as a Daniel Gafford. He would be extremely attractive to other organizations who are making playoff runs, for his physicality, for his rebounding, for his rim protection, and also his rim running prowess. This dude got a lot of bounce. This dude got a lot of energy. I don't know if he's necessarily your 30-minute center guy, a 20-minute guy for sure. I would hope that you would want something like that on the squad. There are a lot of teams that will want that. Plus, he's a great rebounder. Now, PJ Washington is from the Dallas area, so there's a good chance that he wants to stay even through this situation. And it wouldn't be bad to have PJ Washington, who is an established vet, who's kind of gone through the rebuilding process when he was in Charlotte, and now he's had a taste of some high-level basketball in the playoffs. So I like a guy like PJ staying around. And here's the thing. If he loves Dallas the way people have said around him that he loves Dallas, there are other pieces that we can talk about. How about Najee Marshall? Najee Marshall is a wing defender, a three-point shooter, somebody who, surprisingly, when Kyrie got hurt last year, he was able to run the offense fairly good. I mean, it wasn't expert level, but it was like, okay, hold on. We're still decent with Najee running the offense, initiating the offense. With Kyrie, I think personally what you're going to have to do is, it all depends on when you get Kyrie back. There's two schools of thought. One, there was this thing about Kyrie coming back in November. Obviously, that was a trash statement. We are in the middle of November, and we have not seen nor heard of Kyrie coming back. I think this was more Nico Harrison praying to the basketball gods, please let this man heal quicker so I don't lose my job. To no avail, Nico. To no avail. You lost your gig. Where do we go from here? Now, you could do this since it's already bad. You could keep Kyrie out. Now, there's a drawback to that. If you keep Kyrie out until, let's say, around the trade deadline, he gets him, more strength in that leg. But he's been off of basketball for almost a year at that point. So the rust level and the ability to run the offense and not have familiarity with his teammates and where they like the ball, i.e. Cooper Flag, that's the most important part of this process. That would be detrimental to that part. But you're already losing, so do you want to help the losing process continue and make sure that you get yourself a high lottery pick going into next year. Because that's the goal right now. I don't think the goal is like we're going to make this ferocious run towards the play-in. The goal now is, can we go ahead and get Cooper Flagg the reps that he needs, the opportunity that he needs, and see where his most comfortable spots are and go from there. That's where we are at this point. I don't think we need to worry about anything else but that. What else do we have to worry about? We talked about the offense, we talked about the defense and how it is. The big question is this: who are going to make these decisions? We talked about some of the pieces that you could move on from. We didn't even talk about moving Derek Lively. He's still young and also injury prone. Let's get him a couple years of maybe not being injury prone to move on from him. But who's going to make this decision? You got Messiah Ujiri. Gives you a proven star, discipline and with patience. He's not scared to say no to win now moves. That's very important. Also, he is available. Toronto let him go. I'll tell you a guy that I would be very interested in, and I don't know why other people haven't thought about this. I'm looking at you, Phoenix. I'm looking dead at you. How come nobody's made a run at Jesse Gould? He is the longtime guy at the Oklahoma City Thunder. He is their strategy and analyst guy. He is a perfect long-term who can help build a really good team around Cooper Flagg. Here's the thing. Sam Presti, he has brain trust there. Somebody needs to start tapping into this brain trust and taking and plucking some of these people away from him, because they are a wagon right now. And again, I have some scary news to give to you. If you are an NBA fan, the Oklahoma City Thunder fans are going to be like, oh my God, we are so great and we are still so locked in forever. But Jesse Gould is one of those guys I would go ahead and tap as maybe the next player personnel guy for the Dallas Mavericks. Another guy that I would look into, another Oklahoma City guy, Will Dawkins. Will Dawkins is the scouting development mind of the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is a guy that would be ideal for asset accumulation, a young core builder. This is the type of guy that I would also go look at. If you do not want to pilfer from the Oklahoma City Thunder, which I would not understand why you would not want to do that, there's another guy who has done a really good job. I don't know about what the culture is down there, but as far as picking guys and them hitting an eye for talent when it's like maybe second draft type of situation, and he might be tired about where he is right now, do you make a phone call to Memphis and say, hey, is there any way we can get Zach Kleiman to give us an interview? The reason why I bring up Zach Kleiman's name is just, you know what's going on in Memphis. You know about the John Morant situation. You know about just the tenuousness of what goes on right now in Memphis, in FedEx Forum. And I wonder if Zach Kleiman would just like just a kind of a do-over, clean slate, come to Dallas. He got Cooper Flagg, and then he can build around this guy, and you still got some young pieces and you got some vets that you would be able to say, okay, we're going to keep him and we're going to go ahead and move this guy along. He can also have conversations with Clutch. He's been in the seat before, so they're not going to just railroad him and say, hey, this is kind of what we want to do and we want to run your organization. Zach Kleiman is not that guy. So those are some of the people that I kind of like threw out there. Now, if you are a Dallas Mavericks fan, if there is somebody else that, I mean, I didn't even talk about Tim Connelly because Tim Connelly is not moving from Minnesota. Okay, Brad Stevens, you're not getting Brad Stevens from Boston. Okay, I think our guy, Bob Myers, just signed a deal with the Josh Harris, the owner of the Commanders and the Philadelphia 76ers, to be his like overall kind of like in the Stan Kasten mode back in the day for Atlanta, for the Braves and the Atlanta Hawks. I want to give you guys that one. Again, I think it would be a phenomenal idea to tap in to Oklahoma City Thunder's brain trust and their people, because nobody's been taken from them whatsoever. The second thing is, make a call to Memphis. Make a call to see what Zach Kleiman's appetite is to move from Memphis to Dallas. If you are a glass half full type of person, I can see you saying, well, once we get Kyrie and we can get everybody healthy, AD included, we still have like the bones of a very good team. I understand that. It sounds ridiculous, but I do understand that. But my whole point, and I will continue to hammer this, it's not about how many games you can win this year. It is literally how many opportunities, whether it's good, bad, how ugly it might look, or whatever. We are trying to get as many reps for the 18-year-old Cooper Flagg as we possibly can, because we want to tap into that talent. We want to make sure that he is inundated with information, so then when he goes into his next season, he's working on specific things to make himself better. And the one thing with Cooper Flagg that we all know is that kid is an absolute dog worker. Okay, he is going to work as hard as he possibly can to clean up any deficiencies that he has in his game. So I personally want to go that route. If I was a Mavericks fan, if I was in that organization, that's the thing that I would be pulling for. You can also tell me, we're not going to get full value. We're going to get 50, maybe 60 cents on the dollar for Anthony Davis. You are 100% right. There are some nasty rumors out there. There are some rumors that almost make you want to throw up. But you also have to understand that where you are and where he is and what you're actually trying to do. You are trying to trade somebody who is often injured. You are trying to trade somebody who is on the other side of 30, which is a death knell in the NBA. What you get back for him is you're hoping for a young asset back or a decent draft pick back. You would love to get both. By the way, you might have to take on some salary of an unsavory dude in his place. Hopefully it's an expiring contract, so you don't have to hold on to this piece for too long. There are some things that I've heard out there. There's some rumblings of the Chicago Bulls. Do not, under no circumstances, take the Patrick Williams contract back. But if you could get Kobe White and a first and maybe some other contracts that aren't great, like Kevin Huerter, something like that, Nikola Vucevic, which you could probably move on for something else, maybe a couple seconds for Vuce, there you go, you're cooking. But don't sit here and turn up your nose. Do not allow yourself to be caught in a situation where you're looking for great and you pass up on good. Because right now, you got to understand who you are and where you are in your process. And again, you have your own pick this year, and you don't have any control of your picks from 27 to 31. This is the last thing we're going to say on Dallas. This is a fork in the road moment. If you keep trying to squeeze one more run out of Anthony Davis and a roster that's built for Luka that's been traded already, you're going to fail. Or you can admit that Cooper Flagg is obviously your franchise and you got to give him as many reps as you possibly can. The numbers don't lie. You're 30th in offense. You have a negative net rating, and you're a tax team with no real ceiling whatsoever. AD is still good enough to help a real contender, and that contender just isn't Dallas right now. Trading him isn't disrespect. It's the clearest way to respect Flagg's future. If you don't rebuild around a 18-year-old who's about to turn 19 and a $54 million injury risk, You pick the timeline that you need to live with. So the choice is yours. You know, it's like that old song. You can get with this or you can get with that. I think you get with this because this is where it's at. We need to move on to something that is absolutely mind-boggling, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder. And you say, well, Vince, we know Oklahoma City is good. They the defending champions, bro. You're right. There's good defending champions, and then there's, why does this feel like a glitch in the Matrix? And that's where we are with the Oklahoma City Thunder right now. They didn't stumble into a hangover. They sprinted out of their parade. They are 12-1. Start and a margin of victory of 15 points per game. And if you want to get real analytical about it, they're at 15.54 points net rating right now. Last year they were 12.87, which was also historic. Last season they tied for the fourth most wins ever with 68, and they posted the best margin of victory in league history. That's that 12.87 we just talked about. Somehow the title defense looks even meaner. This isn't a cute young core anymore. This is grown-up dominance with receipts everywhere. By the way, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander said he was not real thrilled with the way the Thunder played last year in the playoffs. He thought that they played with their food a little bit, and that he needed to make sure that this year that mentality was stomped out. That's from your reigning, defending regular season and NBA Finals MVP. They're doing this while missing Jalen Williams entirely, plus stretches without Lou Dort. They've had a couple games missed by Chet Holmgren, Alex Caruso. 3 recent all-defensive nods among them. Their defense is leveled up. It is the best in the league, to the point of 6 points per 100 possessions, better than second. Okay? So think about this. The Oklahoma City Thunder right now, their defensive rating is basically 103.0. The Denver Nuggets, who are in second place in this, they're at 109.4. We've seen dominant title defenses before. The 72-win Bulls come into that thought process. The 69-win Bulls come into that process. The streaking Heat. The 73-win Warriors club. But OKC's wire-to-wire profile is already barging into the conversation for sure. We saw it coming last year, right? We even talked about it 2 years ago on this podcast, but let's just talk about last year. Every time we talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder on this podcast last year, the one thing that we always brought up was the net rating, how crazy it was. They are 3 points better than they were last year. Well, almost. 2 and some change. Right now it's 15.54. Last year was 12.87. But you get the point. Last year's defensive rating, best in the NBA, and 2.5s clear of second place. This year, 103 points defensive rating, now 6.4 better than second place. These are early returns. We understand that they're not going to be able to sustain some of these numbers. With that net rating, they might be able to hold up because we all saw it last year. They're first in effective field goal percentage allowed. They're first in points off turnovers. They're top 5 in defensive rebounding again. If you're a Thunder fan, this feels less like a cute run and more like, oh, this might be an era. So think about this. This is a team that we begged for the NBA to put on national TV last year, right? I remember, I think it was one of the 3 wishes on, we have a Christmas show that comes up, and we're going to be talking about it sooner rather than later here, but we have a Christmas show that we do like on the 24th of December, and we call it the 3 wishes. And usually what it is wishes to NBA fans to make the experience better and whatever the case may be. And I think one of the things that we put on there, if it wasn't just an honorable mention, was OKC getting more TV time, which obviously they are this year because they are the defending, reigning NBA champions. But yeah, this is not a cute run anymore. This is dominance, like steadily going up that hill. Just steadily going up, like we're coming, and then all of a sudden you sit there and you see it, it's just like, damn, this is what's going on? This is the craziness that's happening? The one thing that throws some cold water on this situation is that they got a lot of talent. And we haven't even started talking about some of the players yet and who's doing what and whatever case may be. The second apron, as a boogeyman, is circling this nearly flawless roster. But don't worry, I got some cool news for our OKC brethren out there. OKC is demolishing parity right before the punitive cap starts squeezing a deep, talented young core. This level of dominance will multiply young contributors' screams. Enjoy the surplus value window while it lasts. But are we in a situation where we need to hit the panic button? Because I would submit to you one AJ Mitchell. Could Lou Dort and Cason Wallace become too expensive as we move along? We have identified the core, right? We've identified the guys that we're definitely keeping. Chet Holmgren, it's hard to mimic or come within a close facsimile of what Chet Holmgren is, who's a 7'1", 7'2" stretch big who got handles and quicks and can switch on to smaller players, and then when he's on the offensive side, he can punish. If for some reason there's a switch in a pick and roll, he can punish the little guy on the block or step out to the 3-point line and hit threes on your big. So we know that he's going to be there. Now, Jalen Williams is another guy that we pretty much have handpicked as a guy that we're going to keep. Now, here's the thing. If injury continues to become an issue, do you move along from that really big contract that you just re-signed him for? So the Thunder isn't some sort of like second apron theory for OKC. It's the final boss of this timeline. And the reason why they're not really worried is because I told you, I said that I had something that was truly remarkable. The Clippers, who are currently 3-8, the Oklahoma City Thunder own their draft pick. Right now, I believe the Clippers would be 7th in the lottery. Could you imagine if OKC somehow, some way ended up in that like top 3, where you're looking at either AJ DeBansta, Cam Boozer, or Darren Peterson? Not to say that they need this, but you could continue to reinvent your timeline. Because anytime that you can get a high level asset like such as these guys, and there might be a couple more from this draft class, you know, I'm getting starting to dig in on some of these guys. And the one thing that we do know, and something that we talked about with Dallas, is that Sam Presti is probably going to pick the right guy. Now, I'm not saying that's not necessarily that all of his draft picks have hit. That's not true. But he's had such a good hit rate that it's hard to sit there and every time, you know, OKC is on the clock, it's obviously Sam Presti knows what he's doing. You know, we're definitely going to give Sam Presti the benefit of the doubt when it comes to drafting, because again, I mean, Chet Holmgren was probably easiest one, right? But then Jalen Williams was 12th overall. Now, once we get past 7, we're wishing on a hope and a prayer. We also got contributors like Case and Wallace. We also have contributors like we just talked about, AJ Mitchell, who's averaging almost 17 points a game, and we didn't even know who this kid was. Now, also keep in mind, Nikola Topic hasn't played a game for them yet. Also, the center out of Georgetown, Thomas Sorber, is going to be sitting out all year this year. And then you could have actual reinforcements on the front line or wherever you feel that there's a deficit. We also know that Sam Presti is going to go for the most upside, but he's looking for character dudes. He's looking for dudes that want to get it out the mud. He's looking for dudes that are really good people. And the only way to have a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder is that you have a group of guys that have a lot of want to, but also care about the next man that's sitting next to them. And you see that with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, their calling card last year was defense, and now somehow it's even nastier by the numbers this year. The version is doing this without Jalen Williams is probably the most important piece right there. And also, I saw the Oklahoma City Thunder absolutely destroy my beloved Lakers without Jalen Williams and also Lou Dort. Lou Dort, who is their main defensive stopper on your star type of dude person. They said, oh, it's okay. It's okay if we don't have Lou Dort. We got Alex Caruso. And we got others. We got Case and Wallace, who is a great point of attack defender. Chet Holmgren, true shooting percentage right now is .718. He has a strong block rate and efficiency, amplifying that back line, along with Isaiah Hartenstein. So if you're a Thunder fan and you're realizing they haven't even played their best two-way lineups consistently yet, that is a sobering thought. That's a sobering thought for the rest of us. Not for Oklahoma City. They're just going to love it. They're going to sip champagne. They're going to have whatever it is that they like to drink out there. I don't know. What's the preference of beer out in Oklahoma City? I don't know. Somebody hit me up on Twitter, @FrontRunnerPC. Let me know what y'all drink. We'll go ahead. We'll toast one up to you. I don't drink anymore, but we'll toast one up to you anyway. Say here's to you. For the rest of the NBA loving part of this situation, think about how hopeless we felt when the year would start and Golden State would roll out there Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Young, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, who hadn't lost his mind yet. Think about that. Think about how crazy that was. And now they got Shea, Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, like we said, hasn't played the game, but AJ Mitchell is doing his best Shea Gilgeous-Alexander impersonation. We got Case and Wallace, who was sitting there just being an on-ball demon on the defensive end. Oh, and by the way, when you think you can take a deep breath, they bring in Alex Caruso, who has the best individual net rating in all of the NBA. Yes, Alex Caruso, the dude who only scores 6-8 points a game, has the best individual net rating in basketball right now. They're just getting better. They haven't even got everybody. The Thunder took the summer to actually enjoy their championship. This was pressed upon by Sam Presti, coming from that leadership group. Then came back playing angrier, not softer. They did not rest on their laurels. This comes down to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's observation of what they did in the playoffs last year. And he said, man, there's room for improvement. We didn't play our best basketball. Think about that. The best player on the team who won an MVP last year, right? The guy who also won the NBA Finals MVP is telling you that his team did not play their best basketball, and there's a lot of things that they can clean up. SGA's insane box plus minus and usage alongside his efficiency screams quiet, ruthless superstar control of the offense. Is looking Jordan-esque. It might not be the same play style as Jordan, but the actual efficiency and just the way that he's getting after it, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is really doing some Jordan type of things. And if you go and put the defense along with it, because keep in mind, other dudes that are out there, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander might be the 5th best defender on the court at any particular time period where he's there. And he also averages like 2 steals a game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a pretty good damn defender. He's not a slouch. I am a Laker fan. Self-professed, all those type of things, whatever. I'm an analyst first, I believe. I keep my analyst hat on most of the time. But I'm a Laker fan. I grew up a Laker fan. I will always be a Laker fan. I look at Luka Doncic and go, this is one of the best offensive players I've ever seen. But then when I look at him on the defensive side, I'm like, man, if you can just be competitive, we don't even need you to be good. Just kind of be in the right situation most of the time. We're not even asking you to get into some sort of crazy defensive stand and slap the floor like you a dookie or anything like that. I'm just asking you to not be embarrassed. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the game against the Lakers a couple nights ago, their second unit that featured Alex Caruso, that might have been a better defensive team than the team that started. Because I believe, Casey Wallace came off the bench that night. So keep that in mind. We already talked about last year, they're the best margin of victory ever in 68 wins, which was 4th in league history as far as the 68 wins are concerned. Now they're 12-1 with a 15.454 margin of victory. Those profile as the best net profile ever, and also they're on a pace right now they could win 70 games this year easy. And that's what a little lull in the matrix. They could challenge for that 73. Historically, the Bulls 96-97 and the 73 Warriors team are the main modern comps for sustained dominance. If you're a Thunder fan, you're now scanning the stat pages like 90s kids with an almanac. You're casually quoting net ratings at brunch. The spreadsheet is screaming, this isn't normal, even by champion standards. The analytics put OKC in the same neighborhood as the scariest repeat champions we've ever seen. You follow the strength of schedule, the net rating, the double-digit wins count versus those historic Bulls or Warriors teams, and eerily similar just numbers. If you look at those teams and you look at the OKC Thunder teams, and keep in mind, this is the Bulls with Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman. Okay? This is that team. This is MJ coming back from baseball after his hiatus. We won't get into that. We don't need to talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about MJ in no bad manners right now. But this is him coming back off of that and saying, hey, we're back. Let's go ahead and get another three-peat. We're going to videotape the whole thing, and then, 20-some-odd years later, we're going to do the last dance. Okay? Who gets credit for all this? Well, there's a lot of credit to go around. Well, we're going to start at the top with Sam Presti. You know how I feel about Sam Presti. I've talked about Sam Presti and what he's been able to do with the Oklahoma City Thunder time and time again. But he has a stacked, versatile line of defenders and playmakers who can survive playoff hunting and not just regular season noise. The depth shows the advanced metrics. Multiple rotation guys with posting positive win shares. Also, box plus minuses. Strong true shooting percentages. Their abilities to survive injury, like Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Holmgren, Caruso, without slipping, speaks volumes to a roster that is designed to continue to roll. Again, if you're a Thunder fan, you just go out here and go like, man, we trust in Sam Presti, we trust. And here's the best part. He has structured these contracts. He structured these situations. Like, Lou Dort was a dude who couldn't shoot the 3 ball. He was a good little defender at Arizona State. He was undrafted. Comes to OKC. Fits into the system. They say, hey, we're going to teach you how to shoot the 3 ball. And you're going to be awesome on the defensive end. Lou Dort was like, I'm bought in. Whatever. Now he's making some, good chunk of change. Whatever case may be. And we keep it moving. See, it's those wins right there, too. It's not like, oh, we're going to hit on all these lottery picks or anything like that. No. Nah. It's all the little moves that he's made, too. It's the taking chances when you are playing with house money. The Usman Jangs of the world, who we actually think if he got a regular role, he'd be really good. It's just he can't get all the burn that you think he would need because this team is too talented. Now, the only thing to this is that the team that did give them the biggest struggle last year, the team that literally looked them in the face and said, we're not scared of you, the Nuggets are 9-2. And we're going to talk about their dude in a second once we get off the Oklahoma City Thunder. But their margin of victory is 13.36. So they're 2 points below Oklahoma City Thunder right now. Think about that. And they're off to a great start. So right now, the Thunder are defending the belt like they're offended that anyone else thought they had a chance at it. They following a 68-win best ever margin of victory season by upping their own standard, starting 12-1. And by the way, their one loss, they shouldn't have lost that game. They played with their food with Portland. Portland is a lot better team than they used to be. You can't go into the Moda Center thinking like, yo, this is an easy dub anymore. Those kids are playing hard. They're blowing out teams by a margin of 15 a night. Think about that. Their double-digit net rating is so ridiculous. That means they're literally like, they're not playing competitive fourth quarters almost never. They're building their defensive profile that sits 6 points per 100 possessions clear of the next best team. They've done that, again, without Jalen Williams. So OKC isn't just winning. They're outpacing last year's historical dominant championship profile. Shea's advanced numbers screen Apex superstar, not just nice story from a small market. Dominant title defenses are rare. Doing it in the parity era that Adam Silver wanted, that he craved forever, is even crazier. Average points you beat teams by. The Thunder are over 15 right now. Think of, again, I want you to continue to think about that. It's hard to win in the NBA. By the way, we talk about the Western Conference like it's some sort of boogeyman. The OKC Thunder are reacting like, now, this is for my older people. Now, my young people, I don't know what the equivalent would be. But we used to have a puzzle. It's called Rubik's Cube, right? And in the Rubik's Cube, you had to get all the colors, solid colors on all the angles of the cube, right? Now, for us normal people, yeah, we could get it. Somebody mix it up, we can get it. Take us a while, but we can get it. But OKC is acting like those geniuses that would do it like in like 12 moves. They just look at the cube. All right, cool. Do, then hand it back to you. Done. You got anything more challenging? That's what Oklahoma City Thunder is doing right now to supposedly the most competitive Western Conference that we've ever seen. And again, I don't think that this defensive rating will stand as it is right now. But being 6 points ahead of everybody else and you're keeping people at 103 points is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. So there's not much more to say about that, except that be scared, the rest of the NBA. Be very scared of what you're seeing, because they can turn it on like a switch, and it's not. They don't ever turn it off. Usually, they just hype up the intensity of the defense, and they can come at you with waves of players that know their role, that understand it, that are rooting. The superstars are rooting for the other guys. The other guys who are like regular rotation guys are rooting for the guys who are getting chances to play. It is really the best AAU team that I've ever seen in my whole entire life, basically. Okay, there's 2 things that we want to talk about before we get to this Jokic thing, and I don't want to go crazy about this, but did anybody see the Cam Whitmore dunk over Jalen Duren earlier this week? That was foul. Now Detroit is awesome. They are leading the East. They are holding it down like Joe Frazier back in the 70s. They just we will knock any fool out that come and try to test us. Cam Whitmore came to test. Okay? He came down that lane and said, I am here to exterminate life. And it just so happened that Jalen Duren was standing in the way, and he got yanked on a serious level. But not to be outdone, Cade Cunningham's dunk on our guy Andre Drummond in Philadelphia was also ridiculous. This dude came screaming down the lane. Now this is Cade Cunningham, okay? We don't look at Cade Cunningham and think, oh, he got incredible bounce. He got this. He got all this, this levitation and all this other stuff. We do not think of Cade Cunningham that way. But I'm going to tell you right then and there, I bet you Andre Drummond didn't think of Cade Cunningham that he was going to gam on him so disrespectfully, unceremoniously, just yam on you, make you look like you some sort of refugee or prisoner. Nice dunks. But you know what was the commonality in that? Detroit. And you know what also was the commonality in that? They won both those games. They came back and beat Washington, and then they put it to Philadelphia as well. So yes, no regards to human life whatsoever, both of them. But you know who also has no regard for human life? That is Nikola Jokic. And we need to get into this. So a couple nights ago, he played the Clippers. Some nights are box scores. This one was the thesis of defense. Denver walks into the Intuit Dome, and the Clippers say, we'll live with Jokic scoring. We'll take away the passing. We'll take away his alternative routes. Because Jokic likes to keep his field goal attempts to around 15 a game. Right? So, if I told you that Nikola Jokic was 18 of 23, he was 5 of 6 from 3, and then he was 14 out of 16 from the free throw line, my wife will love that. She will love that part. He had 12 boards and 6 dimes, and he was disrespectful to the Clippers. By quarter, he had 25 in the first. He had 19 in the demolition quarter number 3, and the Nuggets dropped a 43-22 haymaker in that third period. and they beat the Clippers 130 to 116. Denver's second chance points in that game was 20 to 8. They had 54 paint points, and they also had 13 fast break points. Aaron Gordon was a plus 28 with 18 points. And we just talked about the Clippers and their record. Well, guess what? 3-8 is not where it's going to be. By the way, you owe their pick to OKC. The Nuggets are 9-2. Cute start, right? When you look at Oklahoma City being 12-1. So, check out these numbers in the first quarter for Jokic. He had 25 points, right? But he was 8 of 11 from all over the court. He was 2 of 3 from 3-point land, and he was perfect at the line. He was 7 of 7. LA's drop and stay home plan keeps shooters quiet, while the hub catches on the move and walks into rhythm threes. 100%. Now, the Clippers did surge in the second quarter to a 10-point lead behind Harden's free throws and Bogdanovic's threes, but Denver answers with AG's putback and 2 above the break Jokic bombs by halftime, and they are 68-63. Now, this is where the avalanche happens. The Nuggets, 15 of 21 in the third quarter. They were 9 of 12 from the free throw line. They scored 43 points. Jokic goes 7 of 7. Okay? I will say that again. 7 of 7. He was also perfect at the 3-point line. Oh, he was actually mortal. He was 4 of 5 from free throw line. He had 5 boards in the third quarter. He had 4 assists. And they absolutely demolished the Clippers while Jokic was doing all this. We told you what he did, right? The Clippers had 1 more field goal than Jokic did in the third quarter. So he went 7 of 7. The Clippers went 8 of 22. They had 6 turnovers and they scored 22 points. And that was ball game. It was over from there. Denver wins the offensive boards 11-2. And keep in mind, this is with Ivica Zubac on the other side and also Brook Lopez. So you got 2 non-slouches at the center position. 2 guys who usually rebound their position very well. And they could not hold a candle to what Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon was doing. This turns into 20 second chance points. Still wins in transition 13-4 on a made shot night. You know what I'm saying? It was great. It was structured. It wasn't vibes. You want to talk about Jokic post game? Check this out. We play our brand of basketball. We don't hunt a winner. Okay? We look for the best shot available. Bleeds into Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, our guy Jamal Murray. It's the next action mentality. When the lead flipped, when they went from Clippers up by 5 to us up by 20, that's how it goes down. Jokic efficiency, he is 78.3 effective field goal percentage on jumpers. Again, he was 5 of 6 from 3-point land. They also went to the free throw line 35 times as a team, and they were 29 of 35. They were +9 on the offensive glass by itself. Now, the Clippers, they shot 94.7% from the free throw line, but they didn't live there, because here's the free throw disparity. When the Nuggets have 35 attempts at the free throw line and the Clippers have 19, that lets you know what you need. That lets you know everything you have to know. We were aggressive in the paint. We got Aaron Gordon, we got Jamal Murray, we got Christian Brown, yo, we're going to get into this paint and we're going to make things difficult for you. Denver's optionality and roster design, enough shooters to keep you honest, enough athletes like Aaron Gordon and also Christian Brown and Peyton Watson to punish switches, enough big depth in our guy Jonas Valanciunas minutes. And that's the difference between the Nuggets this year and the Nuggets last year. So Michael Malone's screams of poverty of a bench last year that led to his own undoing is basically the rallying cry for the Denver Nuggets this year. They got a bench this year. You got Peyton Watson coming off that bench. You got Bruce Brown, Brucey B, as my guy Michael Malone calls him. I love Michael Malone. He's doing good work for ESPN. Fantastic situation. He lost his job because of this. Jonas Valanciunas as well. You know what I'm saying? Also, Tim Hardaway Jr. being there is fantastic. Doing big things. I love it. I love all of what they're doing. The coverage won the zoo drop plus top lock. Denver ruins a pin down to pop. Jokic catches above the break with a squared base. No closeout can contest a 5 or 6 from 3 night. Late doubles. Too late on reverse pivots. He's already at the dotted line. Automatic foul or soft hook. 14 to 16 from the line. 54 paint points. And then you try to put a small on him, switching everything. That's an immediate deep seal, foul economy. You know what's going down. He's an absolute computer. He's a supercomputer that is in a pudgy Pillsbury Doug body. No, it's not. He's in good shape this year. But you know what I'm talking about. And he's not like body beautiful. But he's in good enough shape to run up and down that court. This is continental cuisine cooked by NBA Heat. You told a 7-footer who grew up reading side top pick and rolls to shoot the ball. He said bet and gave you 5 threes. The feather floater, the duck in, the trail nuke at 5:46 in the third quarter. That third was Madrid spacing in a Colorado body. Y'all didn't take away the passing lanes. You hear from the rotations, the glass printed receipts, 20-second chance points, and you stay home wings stayed home on a loss for sure. Congrats on holding Denver to only 13 made threes. Oh my God. You decided to allow Nikola Jokic to get shots. That was your plan? Your plan was to make him be more aggressive. Okay. That was cool last year when he didn't have a lot of help off the bench. You can't do that this year. This man he was playing 42 minutes a game last year. He's playing 34 right now? Like, this is a holiday for him. And he's not on the bench stressing out like, oh my God, we had an 18-point lead when I went to the bench. I just took my first sip of Gatorade and we're up by 6. How is this even possible? That's what his life was last year. Guess what his life is this year? It is peaches and cream. Okay? He's getting it in. He got backups. These dudes off the bench are getting it done. There's a lot of productivity. By the way, the Calvin Booth experiment of Zeke Naji is over. We never hear that dude's name anymore. Those minutes are being replaced with Giannis Valanciunas, not Dario Saric. No shade to Dario Saric, but Jonas Valanciunas is a good backup big when you're saying, hey, bro, we need 12 to 14 solid minutes from you every single night. We don't need 25. We don't need 22. We need 15 minutes tops. For, maybe 6 minutes in the second quarter, 6 minutes in the third quarter, You know what I'm saying? Maybe even less. Like, we might go 3-6-3-3. You know what I'm saying? We don't need a lot from you. We just need a little bit. And when we get a little bit from you, it's got to be productive a little bit. And he's like, bet. When Jamal Murray can only score 15 points and they dominate, you know it's a problem. This is the problem with slogan schemes. Make him score. It isn't a plan. It's a prayer, especially when he's going to have help. He doesn't need perfect spacing. He just need a clean catch. Give him that, and that third quarter writes itself. The next opponent trying to the no kick out doctrine. Chart the 5 or 6 3-point shots that this man made. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't trip no more. I want to get into something that it's a feel good Friday. I want people to go away with some laughs and some humor and what have you. So we're gonna get to this. It's a top 10 what are you thinking quotes in the last 10 years. So some quotes don't just age badly, they curdle in real time. Sports, Hollywood, Silicon Valley, same disease. We've seen this be the future of TV. Pitches that vanish in 6 months. Culture defining festivals. Promises of turn into cheese sandwiches and FEMA tents. And the soda empire swearing that the new recipe would be forever. Hot mics, write checks, the receipts collect interest. So tonight, it's not just Ja, I'm fine with the West, or Kyrie, we don't need head coaches, or whatever case may be. It's a museum tour of confident microphones and unforgiving outcomes. Ja's swagger became OKC's bulletin board. Kyrie's coach optional philosophy was foreshadowed by the Nets era never even coming to fruition. Jimmy's legendary practice rant. I can't wait to get into all this. So, what I want to do is I want to give you a couple what we call honorable mentions. I spent a lot of time on this, so just bear with me. So again, these are the y'all. What just happened? All right, so let's start with our guy James Harden. When he made the meme basically happen, I am the system. Y'all remember that a couple years ago? When he sat there and said, he was like, oh, I'm not part of the system. I am the system. My man was laying down like, I am a point guard of the highest order. And where did that get them? That was an exit to the Denver Nuggets. You ain't going nowhere. Get out of here. Get out of town with that. Does anybody remember the Patrick Beverly? They were scared to guard me in the play-in parade when he was with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Patrick Beverly be saying some wild stuff, boy. Wild stuff. God bless you, Patrick Beverly. God bless you in a live microphone, my guy. Now, Kevin Durant hit us with the "You know who I am." That was an iconic win cash ammo when it isn't. Listen, let me tell you something. Kevin Durant is one of the most efficient score killers of this era. Okay, he is one of the greatest forwards of all time, no doubt. Can get a shot whenever he wants it. I will say this though: when you say you know who I am, and you can't get Phoenix to you can't get them to do anything, bro. Gotta keep that gun in your holster a little bit. Oh, Joseph Lacob, we're light years ahead. It's good while you're winning, but you gotta understand that as soon as you said that, every team in the NBA was coming to get you. I mean, every team in the NBA was just like, yo, did you hear what this fool said? I don't care how good that team is. We're going to find a way to beat them. And guess what? They did. They beat you with a salary cap. So, our number 10, what were you thinking moment is Karl Anthony Towns. When I retire, people will say I changed the game in 2023. Huge talent, time in cosplay. Let the decade write your plaque. Okay? These are Hall of Fame speeches that go after parades, not instead of one. Vision boards don't hang banners. You can't have prophecy without proof is poetry. Beautiful, but light, stacked years, stacked rounds, then talk different. And as far as stretch bigs are concerned, context matters more. Change the game by beating the game. Have deep runs in the playoff, all NBA situations. Scars that mean something. Like my man out here talking cash shit. Karl Anthony Towns. Dope on the microphone. This 2023 was a good year to us. DeAndre Ayton at number 9. I bring dominance. My name is dominating. First of all, you nicknamed yourself. Okay? You nicknamed yourself. And you are making $35 million, bro. Nickname yourself is crazy. Remember, you were getting bullied by a 5'11" point guard in Phoenix to get you to play harder. Yo, brand before resume invites open season for sure. The merch drop before the mixtape, that's how you get booed at your own release party. Dominance is a stat line, not a slogan. Whew. Listen. And the thing about it is that you gotta want to back this up. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have an alpha equity, earn usage. You gotta want the ball. You gotta have two-way persistence. Then you can workshop nicknames in May. Like in playoff time, bro. Like what? Let other people give you the nickname. What are we doing? It's crazy. Oh, yes. This is an oldie but a goodie. We love it, and it comes from the Sacramento Kings owner Vivek Ranadive. Buddy Hield has Steph Curry potential. Come on, man. What? Now, Buddy Hield, and he played with the Golden State Warriors. He's still not Steph Curry. That comp became year-long bet. How can you compare yourself? You're a Camry to a spaceship. Just change the oil on time, set the clock 5 minutes fast, and we'll see. I mean, you can sit here and hope. Hope is cheap. Timelines are expensive. You fed the fans dessert before you fed them dinner, and then wonder why they wanted cake every night. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care how hard you squint, there's no way in hell you see Steph Curry when you look at Buddy Hield. No chance in hell. Love that by Vivek Ranadive. That's why his team still sucks right now. Oh, this is great. I love this one. Number 7, Michael Porter Jr. in 2020, podium plea for more touches. He said while sharing oxygen with Jokic. Think about that. The vets heard him line jump. How is it that Michael Porter Jr. This is when I thought for sure, after they won that championship, I thought for sure this dude was going to be like, this should be my team. We won a championship because of me. Knowing damn well Jokic is the man. We just talked about Jokic a minute ago and his efficient 55 on 23 shots. That man put up 55 points on 23 shots, and you out here talking about I want more touches. That is why you are in Brooklyn. Cam Johnson ain't even shooting good. He's not. We ain't worried about Cam Johnson because Jokic is awesome. You talking about tone deaf? You talking about somebody who obviously needed some perspective on life. We still don't know if our guy Michael Porter Jr. has a lot of perspective on life. Number 6, Dylan Brooks when he was with the Memphis Grizzlies. I poke bears. I don't respect nobody until they give me 40. Man, did that backfire. My guy. Ooh. This activated a whole movement. And I remember when this happened, when he said this, and then that series was over, and they were talking about that dude like have fun in China. That rent dude talk, Bron didn't just drop 40. He dropped the keys to your apartment and told security to let him in. Yeah, you can be the villain all you want, but you better be the one winning. You better be a winning villain. Don't give the best era narrative ammo. Your brand feeds off noise. His is legacy. It feeds off outcomes. Guess which diet wins most often. You literally wanted to poke the bear, and the bear was LeBron James. Are you kidding me, dog? Like, what? Come on, man. I mean, this was wrestling energy with NBA consequences, no doubt. There was no art to provocation. The measure, the equity you're staking. You went all in on theatrics without hedging your protection. Oh, Kevin Durant from 2017 to 2019, Burnergate on OKC and the Knicks aren't cool. A cool thing. This dude went to Brooklyn because he said the Knicks aren't cool. Okay. Brooklyn will never matter in New York City. Let's get that straight. They should have stayed in New Jersey. I understand they got the beautiful Barclays Center, and Barclays is beautiful. And yes, they, but you could play you could say you're New Jersey and play at Barclays. We got two teams out here talking about they're the New York Giants and the New York Jets, and they play at East Rutherford, New Jersey. So why can't the Nets say we're New Jersey Nets and still play in Barclays? I don't know. We could still do that. Just as FYI. Remember when this dude had a secret account, and he was out here with burners and stuff like that? Just, whoa. This is a star. This is a star dude. You don't need to do this, man. And don't you have, underlings that can do this for you? Number 4 is Jimmy Butler. You fucking need me. You can't win without me. 2018. This is Minnesota Timberwolves Jimmy Butler. Okay? My man went scorched earth the building. This was awesome. This is the time where he took, third team scrubs and had a scrimmage against Karl Anthony Towns, and who else was there at the time? I think it was Zach LaVine and them. My man said, hey, that chump change got a contract before I got a contract. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you right now. My man went in there, clocked in with a lunch pail and some block works, and it wasn't no tech talk. That was a garage fire with morals. It was disrespectful until the scoreboard agreed, and then he sat there with Rachel Nichols and had an autobiography conversation. He had a fireside conversation with Rachel Nichols after he literally went scorched earth during a practice. I think that Jimmy Butler would have been a great Marine drill instructor. I'm trying to think of other things that Jimmy Butler would have been good at. Oh, he would have been a great foreign dictator. Because I know that dude cold, bro. He cold. Let's see. Who else? Who else gonna get this? Oh, number 3. 2019. Paul George. on Damian Lillard. That's a bad shot. Series ender. Man, think about that. That was 37, 38 feet away. My guy hits the shot, just turns around, cold stare, stoic. PG, the ball disagreed with you. The wave would notarized it. Outcome always over opinion. The net is a peer review for show. You told a made bucket it was imaginary. That's like arguing with a stop sign after a ticket. It went in, baby. The shot got a passport stamp, and your quote became luggage tag material. You know, sometimes when you did calculus or trig or whatever, there was no answer to the actual question. I bet you that's what Paul George was hoping for. He was like, I don't understand how that went in, because you ain't never won anything. That's why you never won anything, Paul. That's why you didn't become a Laker. Yo trifling ass went to go play for the Clippers. Now they don't even want you in Philadelphia. Number 2, this was a beauty. Kyrie Irving, like back in his real heyday. Okay? I don't really see us having a head coach. This is Brooklyn Nets Kyrie Irving, obviously the more mature Kyrie Irving of 2024 and 2025. He would never say that, but in 2020, Kyrie was on that shit. He was on that shit. He said, I got Harden and Kevin Durant. I don't know why we would need a head coach. And then decided to not play because I'm not taking any shots. I'm not taking any vaccinations whatsoever. Committees don't call timeouts, baby. Committees send emails. When the plane hits the turbulence, you don't want a round table. You want a pilot. That line told the locker room, figure it out. And the locker room said, who, me? Talent that stacks like skyscrapers. Leadership is a foundation. You can't share a vision, but you can blur a voice. A team without a central decision maker becomes a book club. Great discussion, bad execution, and when the clock shrinks, what happens? By the way, our guy Steve Nash, who I respect a lot as a player, I don't know if he'll ever get another chance to coach in the NBA again, and I don't know if he wants it, especially after that experience with Durant and Kyrie and James Harden and them. But if he does, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, he's gonna go in there and the first thing he's gonna do is he's gonna flip over a table. He's gonna flip over a table. He's gonna be like, you know what? I'm in charge. I want one of y'all to go out and say some real stupid shit against me. We don't need no coach. We good, dog. We don't need no coach. We just, you know what we need? We need people who can get us Gatorade bottles. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while, y'all, hey, give me one of them boards with the, the dry erase board where I can draw out some plays, especially for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take care of that for myself. I'm gonna get all the touches. And number 1, and actually he shares it, is that he got 1 and 1A, okay? Or he got 1A and 1B. Ja Morant. We are good in the West. I'm fine in the West. And then what he said about the Oklahoma City Thunder. I've got the Thunder figured out. Man, Ja Morant. There's a lack of self-awareness with Ja Morant that really scares me. And I don't know if this is because of how he's been handled in Memphis, which almost belies the amount of real talent that's in that building as far as decision making on draft picks and things of that nature. They've hit on more draft picks than they've missed out on for sure. I respect Zach Kleiman and his crew. Tayshaun Prince is part of that crew. I love Tayshaun Prince. I think he was a hell of a basketball player, but also I think he's a good front office person. And I can't imagine that some of the antics and some of the things that John Morant has said over the years has set well with that front office. But here it is, John Morant saying shit. Just saying stuff out here. Just doing the Lord's work. You know what I'm saying? If you keep your mouth shut, they can speculate whether you're a fool or not. But if you open your mouth, you leave no doubt. Little bro, you printed answers on the board before the teacher walked in. That's not confidence. That's a coupon for every defender to go at your neck. The West is that uncle who still lifts the couch by himself. He's not impressed by your captions and saying you figured out OKC. That's like announcing that you saw math while algebra is still adding chapters. Now, I know John Morant's being brash is what got him to the league. When he was younger, we loved the brash. I love the kid who wants all the smoke. That's John Morant. But the West, don't do affirmations. It does receipts. The second you say you got OKC solved, you're buying stock in humiliation because those kids live in the gym and they treat quotes like push-ups. Swagger's cool, scouting reports are cooler. And by the way, if you think about it, when's the last time you heard a quote from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander that made you go, ooh, I wish he hadn't said that? Has Chet Holmgren ever said anything inflammatory? The most, I don't even know if you want to call it, the most ridiculous thing that they do is they have fun with the sideline reporter after the games during their interviews after they blew out another team by 20 points or whatever the case may be, and they're putting towels on top of the sideline reporter's head or whatever the case may be. That's what they do. And then guess what they do? They go back to the locker room. They are asking their, assistant coaches for the iPads with the next team's like tendencies and whatever the case may be. They're asking the analytics department, is there anything that we need to look for against this new team? And it's rinse and repeat, and we just continue to win. Remember, we are only like 3-4 years ago when John Morant in the Memphis Grizzlies was that like darling of a team where we were sitting there going like, man, if this dude John Morant is the real deal like we think he is, and trust me, I believe the hype too. You wasn't the only one that was sitting there watching John Morant cock back dunks and thinking to yourself, man, this is Allen Iverson in reincarnate. Okay? You weren't the only one. I was there too. I was there with you. I was like, oh, Jaren Jackson Jr., 6'11", shoot threes. This is crazy. But here we are. We are sitting here and we're looking at a Memphis team that is probably lottery bound. John Morant is shooting under 40% field goal percentage. I still think he is still under Sweet 16 for 3-point percentage. And it's a debacle on Beale Street. So I'm glad that you got the quotes. I'm glad you number one in this situation. I'm going to tell you right now, Playboy, you need to do less talking and more getting in the lab. You need to go ahead and get into that regimen of 1,000 shots a day. Because here's the one thing that we also know about you, Ja. You're slight. And I don't mean that in a bad way, guy. You know what? Sometimes you have to augment your game. Sometimes to allow your speed to continue to be an ally of yours, you need to go ahead and get that jump shot squared away where it's a weapon for you. So now you have the defender on you. They're up close on you. Now you can go ahead and do the blow by and do all the things you want to do. But you can't do that if they're 6 feet off of you and saying, go ahead, take the shot. We don't think you can knock it down, so go ahead, take it. We'll go ahead and get this rebound, and we'll be going back the other way. You are special because you are a athletic freak, and it looks like some of that athleticism has gone away due to some of the injuries that you may have had over the years. So if you don't augment your game and get your 3-point shot up and get you a patented like runner in the lane, floater in the lane type of situation, you are going to be an afterthought. And we are going to say things like, do you remember that like 3 or 4 year span of John Morant when he was awesome? And that's what you're going to end up being. This Friday, I hope you guys like that. It took us a while to put that together. We're going to be trying to do more things like that for you. Keep in mind, we love the participation. We love it. Hit us up on Twitter at FrontRunnerPC. Also, if you don't want to hit us up there, hit us up at frpcvince@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer your emails. Think of topics like this that we put together. You know what I'm saying? We'll go ahead and do something different for you down the road. I know on Tuesday we're going to do some draft stuff. I got some draft stuff that did not even make it into this podcast. It's just going to end up on the next podcast. So, with that being said, the best part of you is you. Surround yourself with people who give you light, insight, joy, and accountability. And if you have people like that in your life, appreciate them out loud. That's your real wealth. And if you're still finding your tribe, know this: you got one here with us at FRPC. Until next time, keep your mind sharp, your heart open, and your circle tight. I'm Vince Dukes. See y'all next Tuesday.